Right now at 6, the Missouri Redistricting Committee votes without full demographic data, raising concerns about fairness.
And showers and thunderstorms well to our west could roll into the area a little later today. Details coming up.
Plus, 2 people face federal charges after immigration officials and the FBI raided St. Peter's home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday, September the 8th. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Again, as we've mentioned, it was a great weekend, which we definitely needed because Labor Day weekend itself was not all that fantastic, a little bit on the damp side. But all in all, not bad. We do have some additional rain chances out there for us today, but they're going to be isolated, at least as of right now. That is the expectation. Let's start with a live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Again, through the day, we'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. We're not doing too bad so far this morning. Same from MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin. Throwing in Skywatch storm trackers. Here's what we've got well off to our northwest. So we're going to drag this out here. So around Salina, from Salina to Concordia in Kansas, we have these showers and thunderstorms. We're not expecting any severe weather in our area. There is a severe risk well to our west, but does not include us, does not even get to us. It's back into southwestern Kansas. But we are seeing new thunderstorm development that's now stretching back down into the panhandle of Oklahoma, so just east of Dodge City, all the way back down there. So this is where it gets a little more interesting. These are the days of weather where it's a little more interesting because the computer data this morning has had a hard time with these storms. In fact, none of them showed any of these storms, at least this early, this far south. At best, they might make it as far south as Hutchinson in terms of development. So that's why, excuse me, we want to watch these storms, not expecting again anything severe, but they could play a role in our weather a little later this afternoon. If any of them hold together late today, could bring us some isolated storm chances later today. So between here and there, we'll have a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, and we're about 4 o'clock. So this is what I'm talking about, because the computers, even this morning, they're picking up on that complex that we just showed you up by Salina and Concordia. This is it by about 4 o'clock, beginning to enter our neck of the woods into southeastern Kansas. It will not be strong. It will not be severe. At least that's the expectation at this point. But it could bring us some isolated showers and storms after 4 o'clock that could continue through the evening. We could get new development or at least see the continuation of that line out to our west late this evening after midnight into parts of southeastern Kansas. So again, it won't be severe when it gets here. We're not expecting anything like that, but we could get some isolated storms thanks to what we showed you on the Skywatch storm tracker, all that rain activity off to our west. Take a look at these temperatures. First off, see all those dark blues over there? Yeah, those are the 40s around the St. Louis area this morning. For us, we're mid-upper 50s, so again, not a bad start to the day. Jay, a little cooler, 54. So kids getting on the bus might want a light jacket to start, will not need it later. Upper 50s. Mid-70s by lunch and recess time, and about 79 for that trip back home later today. We'll go mid-60s by 9, mid-70s by noon, upper 70s by 3. We're looking at highs, upper 70s and low 80s, mid-70s by 6, maybe some isolated storms, south winds 5 to 10. We'll continue, of course, to keep updated on these storms out to our west. Like I said, I just want folks to know, when we're watching storms, a lot of times it means we're tracking severe weather. That's not the case. We're just watching them to see whether or not they'll bring these rain chances to us later today. We also have additional rain chances this week, and it's going to get just downright hot again. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Missouri Republicans are pushing forward with a redistricting plan that could split Kansas City into 3 congressional districts, a move that Democrats say could diminish minority voting power and cost the party one of its 2 House seats. The governor-backed Missouri First map is facing criticism over potential racial gerrymandering, while supporters argue it gives rural, suburban, and urban voters an equal voice. The redistricting committee voted without full demographic data, adding to concerns over fairness and transparency. And 2 people are facing federal charges after immigration officials and the FBI raided a home in St. Peters, Missouri earlier this week. Authorities say the suspects, including the manager of a local buffet, are accused of bringing in and harboring undocumented immigrants and providing housing and transportation. The buffet is now closed, and experts say the case highlights the rights of all employees, even as the legal process moves forward. The man has been pronounced dead after being struck by a train in Anderson, Missouri. Reports of a train striking a pedestrian alerted authorities. The rail crossing is marked as private crossing over to private property. It's a plain crossbuck, no lights, bells, or alarms. Anderson police are investigating the death of the adult male struck by the train, and next of kin have been notified. For more updates on this story, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, an investigation is underway in Arkansas after a black bear attacked and severely injured a man. Lauren Spencer spoke to officials about the rare and scary incident.
His son just went by to, just kind of check on him, status of his progress or whatever, and the bear was actively attacking the gentleman.
Trey Reed with State Game and Fish says in nearly 2 decades with the commission, he's never heard of an attack like this.
It is exceedingly rare to have a black bear attack on a human being. When you hear about bear attacks and Western U.S., we're talking brown bears, grizzly bears.
Reed says game wardens were called in and killed the bear. The victim was airlifted to Washington Regional in Fayetteville. His condition is still unknown. As for the bear, its body is being tested for disease and signs it may have been fed by people.
That is just not normal behavior for a black bear, and so we want to get to the what caused this.
Arkansas is home to several thousand black bears, and Game and Fish says most of the time they avoid humans altogether.
It's really kind of a big deal to see one, because bears typically, they have an incredible nose on them, and when they smell a human, they're going to hightail it the other direction. Our thoughts are with him and his family.
And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Thousands attend a Chicago parade despite new fears of deportation as volunteers watch for federal agents. Plus, food insecurity in America is now higher than during the COVID pandemic. And heat is picking up over the 4 states. Chris has another look at today's forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:07. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Municipal Park. Well, topping Nation Watch, with fears of deportation running high and tensions escalating over immigration policy, thousands turned out for a parade in Chicago, even as volunteers stood guard, ready to warn of any federal agent present. The heightened anxiety comes as President Trump continues to criticize the city and pushes new federal enforcement plans in the Midwest. CBS News' Vermont Terry has the story.
Good evening. There's a consensus from Chicago officials that the federal crackdown on immigration is imminent. Today kicks off a week-long celebration of Mexican independence. Many community events have been canceled, but one parade went forward as planned. Thousands lined the parade route despite new fears of deportation. Olga Cook is a U.S. citizen originally from Mexico.
It is a concern every day going out the house and being with my family or my friends.
Scattered in the crowds, volunteers on the lookout for federal agents, each armed with an orange whistle to send a warning if immigration officials showed up. It was a real possibility following President Trump's ominous social media post.
For the president to come out with these threatening words is disgusting.
President Trump has recently zeroed in on Chicago, criticizing crime levels despite state and federal data showing crime in the Windy City is declining. Chicago police recorded the fewest homicides this summer since 1965. Trump has threatened to send the National Guard to Chicago as he did in Washington, D.C. His Guard deployment to California in June was recently ruled illegal by a federal judge. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker expects the Trump administration will use a different playbook in his state.
And part of their kind of nefarious plan is begin with ICE, cause mayhem on the ground, and by doing that, say that there's a need for military troops on the ground to protect ICE.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is pushing forward with a plan to turn Naval Station Great Lakes, about 50 miles north of Chicago, into an immigration operation staging area. According to an internal government memo obtained by CBS News, the Department of Homeland Security requested roughly 250 agents and 140 vehicles on the base. That internal memo says that federal officials could use that naval base for 30 days. That means the federal crackdown here in Chicago could last for several weeks.
With federal enforcement plans moving forward, community leaders say they'll remain vigilant, and many families in Chicago are bracing for what could be weeks of heightened immigration action. And still to come, the MTV VMAs kick off with a mix of old and new performances on CBS. Plus, warm and sunny conditions. Chris has another look at your forecast. Good morning, I'm Elise Snowy with your KOAM News update. Missouri authorities receive an alert of a train striking and killing a pedestrian early yesterday morning. The rail crossings has no lights, bells, or alarms. Anderson police are investigating the death of the adult male. And the $893 billion Powerball jackpot finds its winners in Texas and Missouri. The Texas ticket was sold in Fredericksburg, about an hour west of Austin. Missouri's winning location remains undisclosed. The two Powerball tickets split the second largest jackpot in game history. Now the game resets to $20 million for tonight's drawing.
And we've got an opportunity, at least, for an isolated shower storm across the area after 4 o'clock today. Highs upper 70s and low 80s with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. As we head through the evening, again, isolated storm chances are possible, but I think most of us will be dry. A decent evening out there, mid 60s by 10, upper 50s, low 60s overnight with additional isolated storms possible. And these isolated storm chances stick with us through the first half of our Tuesday. They'll start to dry out later Tuesday, low 80s. Another round of afternoon and evening isolated storms and showers on Wednesday. We start heating up, upper 80s, low 90s heading into the weekend, and sunny skies.
The VMAs were held in New York last night, and for the first time, they were also on CBS. Jesse Mitchell has a rundown of the top moments and awards.
The VMAs kicked off with a mix of old and new. Kitty G's saxophone opening for Doja Cat's Jealous Type. The show, hosted by rapper and actor LL Cool J, aired on CBS for the first time. Lady Gaga, who had the most nominations with 12, won the night's first award, Artist of the Year.
Being an artist is an attempt to connect the souls of people all over the world.
Ariana Grande's Brighter Days Ahead won Video of the Year.
I'm so grateful that I get to do this with my life and to have such fiercely loving and supportive fans.
The Moon Man for Song of the Year went to APT by Rosé and Bruno Mars. The past and present of music was highlighted throughout the night. Ricky Martin was honored with the inaugural Latin Icon Award, while Busta Rhymes took home the Rock the Bells Visionary Award. Tate McRae stunned with her performance of Sports Car. Best New Artist Alex Warren showcased his hit Ordinary.
And it feels like an eternity.
And Sabrina Carpenter joined contestants from RuPaul's Drag Race to Make It Rain in Tears. Mariah Carey was honored with the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award and performed a medley of her iconic hits. The VMAs paid tribute to the late Ozzy Osbourne, with a performance from Youngblood, Nuno Bettencourt, and Aerosmith's Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. Jesse Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
Sabrina Carpenter took home the Moon Man Award for Best Album. Ariana Grande also won Best Pop for Better Days Ahead, and Mariah Carey also won an award, Best R&B. Well, German waiter Oliver Strumfeld's attempt to break his own world record for carrying beer mugs fell short of at a fair in Abensburg. Strumfeld tried to carry 31 full beer mugs, but lost one after just 15 meters, leaving only 17 mugs safe for the judges. Count well short of his previous record of 29. Strumpfeld, who also serves at Oktoberfest, plans to try again next year, this time aiming for a lucky 33. And stargazers across Asia, Europe, and Africa were treated to a stunning blood moon as a total lunar eclipse. It turned the moon a deep red last night. The eclipse occurred as the sun, earth, and moon aligned, casting Earth's shadow and giving the moon its signature color. The rare sight won't return until next year, with the total solar eclipse expected in parts of Europe in August 2026. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have an opportunity, at least for some isolated showers and storms today. We're starting our day not too bad, though. We'll have a full look at your forecast when we come back. Time now, 6:19. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:21 on this Monday morning. We are starting with a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and there is a very good reason we're starting with that look. Now, there's nothing in our immediate area, but what we are monitoring are some thunderstorms that are off to the west and right now the northwest of us. So here's what we've got. We're going to start up here around Salina. So these storms actually are beginning to become low-grade severe, which was not an expectation from them, producing some small hail out there with some of these and quite a bit of lightning. Not a concern for us at this point. We're not expecting anything severe in our area, but we are watching this complex, and as we drag this southwest, this line of storms that's trying to get going. Now, I just took a look at the latest data that's come in, and it's expecting these storms to last an hour or two and then die out. So we'll see exactly how that plays out, because the computers also this morning didn't show this line of storms at all. But these showers and storms along this boundary out to our west could eventually bring us some opportunities for isolated showers and storms later today. So we'll even drag this out, and you can watch these flare up out here. And there's still that chance they could die out, but we'll see. And again, if they make it here, we're not expecting anything severe, but it'll have an impact on our weather later. Between here and there, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies, and then this is future track actually picking up on that complex currently up by Hutchinson, Salina, and Concordia. This will eventually begin to make its way in. We're going to be looking at, from 4 o'clock and beyond, opportunities for isolated showers and storms. Now, there may be a few more of them initially in southeast Kansas as that complex pushes in later this afternoon, but they'll become considerably more isolated. And then this could be that line out west trying to push into parts of southeast Kansas after midnight. Now, again, it wouldn't be severe by the time it gets here. There is a severe risk highlighted for thunderstorms out into southwestern Kansas and northwestern Oklahoma, but not for us. But we could get a few of those residual isolated showers and storms as we begin our Tuesday and continuing into the early afternoon before it begins to fizzle out on us out there. Then we have the rest of our Tuesday looking pretty good. We head into Wednesday. We'll have, again, that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. But you see clouds thicking up by mid-morning on Wednesday across parts of southeast Kansas, and that's from because from Kansas to Missouri, we have an opportunity again Wednesday afternoon for some isolated pop-up showers and storms. And again, not expecting anything severe with that, but we could get them, and they could persist even as some light showers into the late evening hours on our Wednesday. Beautiful sunrise out there this morning, 7th and Rangeline, about 60 to start our day, low 70s by 11 a.m. We're looking at highs today, eventually into the upper 70s, low 80s. Same again tomorrow, but we still start to heat up. That's one consistency from last week in the forecast, is warmer air moving in the second half of this week, going above normal, upper 80s and low 90s out there. We're back to the mid to upper 80s next week with a few more storm chances possible on Monday. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks. Well, children with high blood pressure could face a higher risk of deadly cardiovascular disease decades later. A Northwestern University study found that high blood pressure in kids as young as 7 could increase the risk of death by 40 to 50% by the time they reach their mid-50s. The findings underscore that regular blood pressure screening is critical, even for children. Well, food insecurity in America is even higher now than during the COVID pandemic. Research published in JAMA found hunger declined between 2019 and 2021, but by 2023 had grown to even higher levels. Researchers note that food insecurity fell when the U.S. expanded government food assistance programs and rose when those programs were slashed. Food insecurity is linked to numerous health problems. Well, a new study finds that teenagers are especially vulnerable to loneliness. Research from the University of Cambridge found that after only a few hours without any social interaction, teens start seeking rewards that provide social reconnection, sometimes in unhealthy ways, such as through alcohol or drugs. Researchers say teens should be encouraged to find positive outlets for social connection. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the Spiva Center for the Arts unveils a special gallery honoring local veterans.
And thunderstorms out to our west could give us some isolated storms a little later today. We'll go over those details coming up.
Plus, former NICU patients from newborns to teens reunite with hospital staff at a special celebration.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday, September the 8th. Happy Monday to everybody. You know,
Yes.
we got to start Monday on a chipper note because it's Monday. And especially after such a great weekend, it really
Right.
does make it hard to get up and decide to go in today because, man, it was so wonderful. It just makes you want to sleep a little longer, you know, take
Just
one
a
more
little
day
bit,
to
yeah.
just chill. But you got, unfortunately, we got to get back to work and everything like that because without it, without going to work, we wouldn't be here. You'd have no morning news this morning. Let's start with a live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Sunrise looks beautiful. Take a look at that. Great colors out there. Some nice oranges and yellows and a few clouds. And it's otherwise not a bad start to the day. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also looking good as we get our Monday underway here in the 4 states. And now we're going to take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Why? Well, because there's nothing happening here. So you're going, why? It's not raining here. It's not raining anywhere around here, but it is close. We do have some showers and thunderstorms off to our northwest around Salina and Concordia. We do have some stronger storms up there. Nothing severe, but some small hail with some of these storms. You can see quite a bit of lightning with that activity as well. And then we have this little line of storms that's kind of flared up, stretching southwest of that. And there's almost 2 lines now that have flared up out east of Dodge City, back into the panhandle of Oklahoma, northwest of Woodward. Nothing strong or severe with that. Now, there's a severe risk area that is highlighted for this zone out here, but well to our west. We're not expecting any severe weather, but some of these storms could bring us some isolated shower and storm chances as we head into the afternoon. Now, the computer data, and I always like transparency here, did not initially show any of these storms that are out to our west now. Not this line. They picked up on this activity, which we'll talk about, but not this activity. And they are picking up on it now, but they're suspecting or suggesting it will die off in the next hour or two, which is possible, but you can see there's new activity developing back into the panhandle of Oklahoma. Texas, into Texas. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. With that said, and the reason I wanted to talk about that is because the computers have picked up on the activity to our northwest, and that is showing up, which we'll show you. Between here and this afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Here's that complex. By about 4 o'clock, starting to bring some isolated shower and thunderstorm chances as a possibility into southeastern Kansas as we head into the late evening hours, and then eventually some isolated storms outside of that. So it's picking up on that, but not what's out to the west. So we'll see exactly how that all pans out, but could bring us some isolated storms overnight as well. Temperatures this morning a little bit on the cool side, mid-upper 50s. Jay, the cool spot at 53. Nevada a little warmer, along with Parsons, both at 59 this morning. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking at upper 50s, mid-70s by lunch and recess time, and as they head home later today, near 80 degrees. And our highs are going upper 70s, low 80s, mid-60s by 9, mid-70s by noon. Those isolated storm chances later this evening across the area, and winds south at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to break down details on these showers and storms, and of course I'll keep looking at updated data. If something changes, I will certainly let you know. And we'll talk about our other rain chances plus the heat. It's going to make a return this week. Details in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Spiva Center for the Arts is unveiling a new gallery. The gallery, entitled The Freedom Endeavor, features portraits of local veterans holding pictures of themselves when they were serving in the military. Officials from the exhibit say the gallery is a way to remember history and those who fought for our freedoms.
Each one of the tags that are next to each veteran has a QR code. Each veteran was also interviewed, and so you can listen to those interviews. So as you're walking around, you can actually hear the voices and the stories of these people and what they experienced.
The exhibit opened to the public Friday. A reception will take place in just a couple of days for the exhibit on the evening of September 10th. And families and caregivers came together for the Freeman NICU reunion at the Joplin Elks Lodge over the weekend. The event, hosted by Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, brings together former NICU patients from newborns to teens and the staff who cared for them. Kids can enjoy activities like face painting, cupcake decorating, and outdoor games, all part of this year's fairy tale themed celebration. Freeman's 24-bed NICU is the only one of its kind in the area, providing specialized care for premature and critically ill infants. Well, 2 winners are announced in the historic Powerball jackpot that reached nearly $1.8 billion. The winning tickets were sold in Texas and Missouri. Madeline Rivera has the details.
Winners of Saturday's Powerball drawing are claiming the second largest jackpot in the game's history. They're from Texas and Missouri, though we don't know their identities. Per Texas Lottery, the winning ticket in the Lone Star State was sold at a gas convenience store in Fredericksburg, about an hour west of Austin. The selling location for the winning Missouri ticket, though, has yet to be released. So just how much is the prize for these lucky folks? Well, the two will have the choice between an advertised prize of $893.5 million or a lump sum payment of $410 million. Both prize options are before taxes. Power Product Group Chair Matt Strawn saying in a statement, "Congratulations to our newest Powerball jackpot winners in the Missouri Lottery and Texas Lottery for selling the winning tickets. Each $2 ticket sold during this Powerball jackpot run gave players a chance at the prize while also supporting vital public programs and services in their communities, and that's worth celebrating." The massive jackpot sparked a ticket craze nationwide. The odds of winning that prize, though, were 1 in 292 million. Sports betting site bookies.com says you had better odds at becoming U.S. president, being struck by lightning twice, or even winning an Olympic medal. But more than 9 million tickets won cash prizes and other amounts in last night's drawing. Among them were 18 $1 million winning tickets, 90 $100,000 winning tickets, and 232 tickets that won $50,000.
Well, the next drawing is tonight. The Powerball jackpot resets to $20 million. And the winners may be thinking about what to do next. Well, a wealth advisor and managing partner with Carve White and Associates Wealth Management says it's important for winners to have a team in place once they win the jackpot. The wealth advisor says the team should consist of a CPA, attorney, and wealth manager to help with things like tax implications, legal protections, and create an investment strategy. The founder of Oak Grove Estate Planning, Andrew Mims, says the first thing a winner should do is sign the back of their ticket to prevent anyone else from claiming it as their own and store it in a secure place. Now, if winners care about privacy, Mims says they should claim the winnings through a trust, as it can keep their identity anonymous, even in states that require winners to be publicly identified. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump issues a warning to all foreign companies investing in the U.S. to respect immigration laws. Plus, 2025 continues to be a strong year for horror films at the box office. We'll have the latest. Time now 6:36. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Municipal Park. Well, in Consumer Watch, following last week's immigration raid on a Hyundai electric battery plant in Georgia, President Trump warned on social media last night that, quote, all foreign companies investing in the United States to please respect our nation's immigration laws. Now, more than 400 people were detained in that raid, more than 300 of them South Korean nationals. Now, South Korean officials say negotiations for the workers' release have concluded and they will be brought home soon. And 2025 continues to be a good year for horror films. The Conjuring last night topped the domestic weekend box office, scaring up an estimated $83 million. The filmed version of the Broadway musical Hamilton in theaters celebrating the show's 10-year anniversary was second with $10 million. And Weapons is also still going strong, bringing in over $5 million for the number 3 spot. A new federal health report could spark controversy, according to the Wall Street Journal. An upcoming Department of Health and Human Services report may link autism to Tylenol use during pregnancy and low folate levels. Now, the report is also expected to name folinic acid, a form of folate, as a way to ease autism symptoms in some patients. Tylenol maker Kenvue rejects any connection, and top doctors agree, saying it's still safe for pregnant patients when used properly. Autism rates have risen in the U.S. The CDC reports 1 in 31 children was diagnosed by age 8 in 2022. Well, fewer Americans are making ends meet by taking on a side job in addition to their main occupation. A recent survey found while the numbers are down, more younger people are partaking as a way to have some financial freedom or turn their passion into profit. Bradley Blackburn introduces us to side hustlers.
Anna Worm is an administrative assistant by day and a dog walker whenever else she can.
I have about 5 dogs that I walk consistently each week, and then one-offs every once in a while.
Worm sets her own schedule through Rover and says pounding the pavement has been a financial boost.
Living in New York is really expensive, so I knew that if I was going to be here, I needed a second source of income to be able to live the life that I want to live.
A recent Bankrate survey found just over a quarter of Americans have side hustles. That's actually the lowest percentage since 2017, and most are using that extra dough for discretionary spending.
What's going on here is that the job market's been solid, and wage growth has outpaced inflation for the past 3 years. People are catching up.
With the average side hustler making $900 a month, it's enough to pay down some debt or sock away for a rainy day.
Good.
It's also a way to turn a hobby into gainful employment.
I wanted to incorporate an activity into making money.
29-year-old Brianna Meertens picked up pickleball when she was in between jobs. The tennis player figured she could teach pickleball lessons.
Like more to the side.
It went from a side hustle to a full-time gig as a club pro, but Meertens still books private lessons on the side with an app called Teach Me To.
I'm able to pocket some extra money after bills are paid.
She encourages anyone even considering a side hustle to take a swing at it.
Don't be hesitant. Try it. You can make $5 in a day and make $100 tomorrow.
And that passion could become permanent. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Now, analysts say we could see a resurgence in side hustles with employment trends weakening and price growth potentially ticking up due to tariffs. Among the most popular kinds of extra gigs, online sales, graphic designs, crafts, and child and pet care. That's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, quick look outside from 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. A beautiful start to the day. At nice sunrise, some clouds. We're looking at a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies as we head through the day. Could also get some isolated showers and storms. We're going to break down the details on what you need to know, how long the rain chances last, and when that summer heat returns when we return. Time now, 6:44. All right, time now for some Monday birthdays. We're going to start in Carl Junction with Remy Baxter celebrating birthday number 5. Says happy birthday, love mom, dad, brother, and soon to be Tabitha.
And in Fulton, a happy 8th birthday to Mr. Bo.
And in Pittsburgh, Matthew Rattray celebrating birthday number 9 today. Happy birthday.
Happy 10th birthday to Corlin Fuentes in Parsons. It says, hope you have the best birthday. Love, Poppy and Nani.
And we've got Dexton Morgan in Chetopa celebrating birthday number 13 today with love from Mom, Nana, and Mimi.
And in Miami, a happy 54th birthday to Krista Pierce. It says, happy birthday from the Crestline Girls.
And as we head over to Columbus, Brian, and Susie Nat. I skipped all the way to the end of the list. I am so sorry. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Lee Schroer in Joplin. Great birdhouse. Great birthday celebrating number 70. Lee, I am so sorry. Love the sweater and the hat, too. Very festive. I am already ready for Christmas just with your photo. Happy birthday.
And over in Crestline, a happy 81st birthday to Sue Moore. It says here, happy birthday and love from your family.
Now, Brian and Susan Natalini celebrating their 41st wedding anniversary in Columbus. A very happy anniversary to the Natalinis.
And last but not least, a happy birthday to Randy Beck in Pittsburgh.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. It's even better when I read everything in the correct order and don't skip ahead. And if you would like to celebrate your special occasion or your loved one's special occasion with us, there's something super easy you need to do, and Elise has that information for you.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and those anniversaries to birthdays@komnewsnow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen. And also, please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information there, and we have some important weather information for you as well this morning. So we're starting the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and with this complex of storms I'm about to show you off to our northwest, 158 now lightning strikes with this thing, and another strong storm with it also getting ready to head into Salina. So for us, none of what you see here is actually happening, but what is actually happening is this activity out here between Concordia and Salina. It's this storm here with a greater concentration of lightning as well on I-70. That's a little stronger, some gusty winds and small hail with that. So this complex, the computer data this morning has had no problem picking up on it and has a pretty decent idea as to what it's going to do next. It's the line of storms that's still broken out here that stretches back down east of Dodge City into the panhandle of Oklahoma, and you can see new activity. It's been trying to flare up into the panhandle of Texas. The latest data suggests that these storms in this zone will last an hour or two and die out. But at the same time, the data earlier this morning didn't show anything from here south at all. So we'll see how it pans out. Now later today, there's a severe risk that is highlighted for this zone, but it's later today, doesn't come close to us at all. But there is that severe risk. Those storms, though, could also eventually impact our weather later today, but not with anything severe is the expectation. So here's a look just kind of at that loop. This complex as it continues to kind of merge together here and push off to the east. And then again, just kind of watching this line, you can see this activity flare up pretty quickly. So we'll just kind of have to see how it pans out with this little line of storms. But or at least looking at some isolated storm chances later. Between here and there, we do have partly to mostly cloudy skies on the future track, and by about 4 o'clock or so, that complex up around Salina, eventually working into parts of southeastern Kansas, and so isolated showers and storms are the expectation. We could get a few more of them in southeast Kansas initially, but that complex will be kind of in a decaying state, and then ultimately just leave us with isolated showers and storms as we head late evening and into the overnight. Now, future track is trying to pick up on that line of storms, and it does believe that it might hold together at least pieces of it and bring isolated storm chances after midnight into parts of southeastern Kansas. So that's what you're seeing here. Yates Center, Chanute, around Parsons, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Independence. That's the broken remnants of that line of storms. But here's the thing. I think what this is picking up on is not the line of storms that's out there right now. I think it's picking up on what's expected to develop later today that has that severe threat with it out to our west. So again, we'll have to kind of see how that line of storms that's developing this morning does, whether it actually dies out in the next hour or so, or if it can bring us a few more isolated storms. Now, if it survives, it would first off be a while before it even got here, but it could bring some isolated storms into southeastern Kansas earlier in the evening, or earlier in the afternoon rather, versus the ones later this evening. So we'll just see how that plays out. A few of these could linger through the first portion of our Tuesday before they do eventually begin to fizzle out as well. As we go through the rest of our Tuesday, not looking too bad. And then as we go into Wednesday, we have another opportunity for some isolated showers and storms, as you can see, by late morning into the afternoon into parts of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. And those could stick with us somewhat late into the evening as a few isolated showers. Again, beautiful sunrise this morning, 60 to start the day, low 70s by 11 a.m. We're going to have another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap, and when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to tell you about two winners that hit the record-breaking jackpot over the weekend, but the pot resets today. We've got some information on what you should do if you should ever win the Powerball.
This is your wake-up recap for September 8th. The top stories to start your day. Missouri authorities received an alert of a train striking and killing a pedestrian early yesterday morning. The rail crossing has no lights, bells, or alarms. Anderson police are investigating the death of the adult male. The $893 billion Powerball jackpot finds its winners in Texas and Missouri. The Texas ticket was sold in Fredericksburg, about an hour west of Austin. Now, Missouri's winning location remains undisclosed. The two Powerball tickets split the second largest jackpot in game history. Now the game resets to $20 million for tonight's drawing. And Fayetteville police respond to gunfire at an apartment complex yesterday morning. Officers arrived just before noon after reports of shots fired. As they attempt to make contact, more gunshots came from inside the apartment, that time directed at officers. Officers returned fire and the shooting stopped. Police found the suspect dead inside the apartment. Authorities say there is no ongoing threat to the public. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And we could still get some isolated showers and storms later this afternoon, around 4 or so, initially in southeast Kansas. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy, upper 70s, low 80s today. Some isolated storms still possible through the evening and overnight. I think most of us will be dry, but some of us, especially in the southeast Kansas, could get some isolated showers and storms. Upper 50s, low 60s tonight. Isolated storms could continue through the first portion of our Tuesday and then return again for southeast Kansas and Missouri into our Wednesday. Will be low 80s tomorrow, hotter heading into the weekend, upper 80s, low 90s out there. And then we'll get some rain chances Monday, temperatures dropping just a wee bit back into the mid to upper 80s next week.
All right, when coming up today at noon, we're making on-the-go breakfast pockets in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Two-time doubles Grand Slam champion Taylor Townsend will explain what it meant to be embraced by so many fans during the U.S. Open.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we learn more about an event encouraging women to be bold by making meaningful connections and becoming leaders. Neely Myers tells us all about the event.
Plus, a look at local events that happened over the weekend, beginning with Wings and Wheels in Joplin. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.